Hi guys, in this tutorial I'm going to be teaching you both the two-handed helicopter and the one-handed helicopter.
Alright guys, so I'm going to be teaching you the two-handed helicopter first because I think it's a little bit easier than the one-handed helicopter. And just an FYI, these moves are very different from each other. So you're going to be using different movements with your body and different movements with your hands and the way that you're turning. So I'm going to break it all down for you, starting with the two-handed helicopter. So with the two-handed helicopter, you are going to be passing the hoop from one hand to the other, and the 2 points that you are going to be passing are going to be in front of you and behind you, at least for the variation I will be teaching you today. So behind you and in front of you, maybe just kind of practice with this. It's a simple pass, but those are the 2 points that you are handing the hoop off to your other hand. So we are going to be mixing this motion with some twists with your hands. So that's all that this move really is, but I'm going to break it down for you in depth. So in my right hand, I'm going to be starting behind me with my palm up. It's kind of awkward, but this is what that looks like. And as I'm bringing it in front of me, I'm going to be turning my hand so my palm is up again in the front. So you can just kind of play with this motion here from behind you to in front of you. Your palm should be up when you are handing the hoop off to your other hand. So from here, in front of me, I'm going to grab with my palm up with my left hand, and I'm going to do the same thing. So my left hand is in front of me with my palm up, and I am turning until my palm is up again, and bringing it behind me. Catching it with my palm up in my right hand, and starting over. So this is what that should look like. So as you guys can see, when you are doing this, the hoop is kind of stopping when you are bringing it in front of you and behind you. So what you want to do is get an extra little spin in there once you get comfortable with this motion. So obviously when you are bringing the hoop in front of you and behind you, you can't really move your wrist anymore. So what I'm going to do is, instead of stopping it right here, I'm going to be adding another spin in there, and I'm using my fingers for this spin. So I'm going to use the momentum that I have from turning the hoop and turning my wrist really fast to add an extra spin in there using my fingers and then passing it off to my other hand. I'm going to do this behind me and in front of me. I actually, when I am using my fingers, in order to not drop the hoop, I like to kind of use my pointer finger and my thumb to grab it like this, and that is where I am doing that spin. And then I pass it off to my other hand and I do the same thing. So I'm kind of twisting my fingers with that momentum to pass it along to my other hand, in front of you and behind you. So not only are you using your wrists, but you are using your fingers for this move to really add extra flicks into the hoop. Now, another way that you can make this move look awesome is by adding a spin to it. This does kind of speed it up though, so you do want to get comfortable passing the hoop like this and kind of getting your shoulders and your wrists stretched out, because if you do have tight wrists and tight shoulders, this is a move that is going to be a little bit more difficult for you, but it does really open things up for you and kind of stretch it out. So once you kind of get into this rhythm and into this motion, you can go ahead and add a spin. You want to spin in the same direction that you are passing the hoop. I am passing it from my right hand to my left hand. So I'm going to spin to the left. And I'm remembering to pass it in front of me and behind me. Alright, so now I'm going to be breaking down the one-handed helicopter, which, like I said, is a lot different than the two-handed helicopter. So I am starting off with the hoop in my right hand. I am right hand dominant, so if you feel more comfortable doing it in your left hand, you're going to want to mirror everything that I'm doing. This move consists of hand spins over and over again, so you want to be very comfortable with hand spins, and not only that, but you have to be doing a certain hand spin in order to make this move work. This is the #1 problem that people have when trying to learn one-handed helicopters, is that they are either spinning in the wrong direction or doing their hand spin in the wrong direction. So this is very important. If your helicopters are not working out, this is probably why. So if the hoop is in your right hand, you are going to be doing the hand spin where you are starting with your thumb up and you're bringing your thumb down. And you are doing this really fast so that it goes over your hand and then you are catching. This is the hand spin you want to do if it's in your right hand. So from here, thumb up, down. It is not going the other way. It is going bringing your thumb forward and down. So once again, like this. that is the hand spin you want to do. If it is in your left hand, same thing, thumb up, bringing it forward and down. So whichever hand you are working with, you want to make sure that your thumbs are starting up and you are bringing them forward and down into that type of hand spin. So if the hoop is in your right hand, you are going to do hand spins in this direction and you are turning to the right. So one way to practice this is hand spin, hand spin, hand spin, and turning, catching it every time. Just practicing this motion. So how we're gonna go ahead and smooth all these hand spins out and keep them very fluid is we are going to practice this technique. I'm going to hold the hoop in front of me or out to the side of me, and I'm going to start with my palm up, and I am going to, remember to flick with your thumb forward. You are going to give it a push and turn it around your hand. So it's coming into the palm of my hand, I'm letting it spin over the back of my hand, and I'm catching it. So you are going to keep practicing this little motion. It's kind of like a stirring motion. You want to keep it very fluid and nice. Practice not dropping the hoop from here. And what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna translate that into what we were just practicing with our hand spins and turning. So the way that I personally learned to put all of this together to create one really beautiful move is I started with this motion and turning, adding some speed. So go as fast as you can with this motion and start turning your body like this, keeping the hoop low because it's a little easier to control if it's lower. Now, as you gain some speed, you will gain some momentum, and that is when you start to bring your hand up higher. It is just this move, this stirring move, but up in the air. You want to practice your hand spins, however, because that will gain control over this move and you will start to learn exactly how the hoop should feel going around your hand. But once you gain some speed, it will automatically go around your hand if you just practice this stirring motion or whatever this little move is. That can be a cool move on its own. I never thought about that. Okay, so anyways, I am doing this motion and I'm bringing it up higher and adding some speed and momentum while simultaneously turning my body. So I'm going to start this move off with a hand spin and then automatically go into that little stirring motion. You want this hand spin to be powerful and hard so that you can have speed right off of the bat. If you lose your speed, you will lose your momentum and the hoop will fall. So remember to turn right away too. So hand spin, and I am doing that stirring motion while turning. Thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial, and happy hooping.